Okay. The other most important function of a code of ethics is that it informs the counselors of their ethical guidelines. One, it informs the counselors of their ethical guidelines, professional obligations. Two, and responsibilities to their clients. We should
When it comes to customers, the ethical guidelines.
professional obligation. Professional obligations and responsibilities to their clients. All right, so I said at some point to say the code of ethics is a catalyst, or it helps you to improve your profession. How can the code of ethics? How can a code of ethics help a counselor to improve their practice? All right, so we have talked about different functions of the code of ethics, and now let us specifically look at some issues that code of ethics are going to play. And this is one of my favorite areas where I need to ask you the exam. Code of ethics in counseling. Code of ethics as a catalyst for improving practice discussed. Okay, so I am saying it again. A code of ethics is not a list of don'ts, whereby when you are dealing with a client, what you need to do is you don't want to step on a bomb, and therefore you are constantly checking on the code of ethics to say, what I'm doing, is it alright? Is it in line with what I'm supposed to do? Because when you do that, it is going to lead you to thinking outside the box. But when you're looking at code of ethics as something that is going to help you develop in your practice, it is going to bring a lot. Because code of ethics, they are going to bring about a basis for accountability. And through their enforcement, clients are protected from unethical practices. If you look at it positively, you will see that if someone is going to be using the code of ethics as a building block, they are going to handle their clients in a different way. And therefore, you can make a name out of it. You want to go to a company, go to meet this so why? She is going to handle your issue well. Why? You are using the code of ethics. So we are saying it is a basis for accountability. And when you are enforcing them, it protects your client from unethical practices. I know you want to know as much as possible. And I also find myself waiting for you. Okay, code of ethics, much as they are going to act as a basis for accountability, but they can also provide a basis for reflection and improving your professional practice. One of the qualities that a person or a counselor is supposed to have is the ability to reflect. When we are talking about reflective thinking, we are talking about a process whereby after every day session, you should sit down and start thinking, what did I do? What did I do well? Was that the best thing that I said to the client? And so on and so forth. So if you start asking your questions and you answer them, you can always say, okay, I think here I didn't do well because next time I'm going to do everything. So If you are referring that to the code of ethics, you can see that day after day, you are building yourself and your practice is improving because of the use of the code of ethics. So reflective thinking or code of ethics can provide a basis for reflecting on what you have been doing, and you can improve your professional practice. What did I do? What did I say to you? What does the code of ethics say? Code of ethics says ABCD. Okay, so what did I do? Next time, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. So time and again, then it becomes a way of life. Alright, so reflecting is simply self-monitoring, which is a better route for professionals to take than being policed by an outside agent. So what would be the best thing? You police yourself and do not wait for an outside agency to police you. Okay, what will be, anyway, I have already said that if you're going to be too glued to the code of ethics, you are going to cease to be creative. But also that does not mean you become well, because you can get burned in the process. Before I go, is there a question? No?
Okay, so these are more of the importance of ethics,
These are more?
more like saying importance of ethics.
Yes. Like why ethics important? They are important because they are catalysts for improving practice. How does it improve practice? By acting on accountability. Code of ethics and ethical decision making. Importance of ethics. 1, improves practice. The 2, we're saying decision. You make ethical decision making. Are you lost? Yes. Okay, we talked about functions of codes of ethics in companies, right? Okay, so I gave you a list of them. To decide the appropriate plan for action, we talked about guidelines for professional obligations and responsibilities, right? Alright, so I said another one whereby I say functions of codes of ethics as a catalyst for improving practice. That is what we have just finished explaining. How do you improve your practice? By using the code of ethics as basis for accountability. And I also say code of ethics provide a basis for reflection. Can you remember what it was? Okay, maybe what you can do is write a catalyst for improvement of practice. 1. So maybe 5 or whatever number it is. The second one, I said, which I have just said. The first one was code of ethics as catalyst for improving practice. What? Code of ethics as a catalyst for improving practice. Okay. Kimber, when I was talking about codes of ethics can be used for reflection and the basis for accountability, what were you writing? What were those?
Providing professional standards like practice because of the society. Then you mentioned about the importance of ethics that you have proposed.
Okay. Functions of codes of ethics. This is for about the BJ here, we are okay. Code of ethics improves the council's way of doing things, yes. The importance of, we are still here, so questions are now, code of ethics. But then, I would want you to improve the council's ethics. This is going to help the council to improve their profession. So it works as a catalyst. Yeah. So if I happen to ask you during an exam, explain how codes of ethics become a catalyst for improving practice, you should be able to produce this. So the second one, or maybe among the others, codes of ethics also help in helps the counselor to make ethical decisions. There are times as a counselor you're going to be dealing with ethical questions, which you can always draw from the answers from codes of ethics. But at the same time, you are also bound to make some ethical decisions, which you cannot do so alone. So, when you are supposed to answer an ethical question, you can always draw the answer from the code of ethics. When you're supposed to make an ethical decision, you can also do so by drawing that from the code of ethics. So, this one now, this is where now we are trying to run away from any consequences. If you know that this decision I'm about to make, in as far as my client is concerned, is an ethical decision, make sure you are abiding by the framework of the code of ethics. If anything bounces back, you can always say, no, I gave this person this suggestion because this is where I was referring to. So no one is going to sanction you. Code of ethics helps the counselor to make ethical decisions. So whether you have to answer an ethical question, you answer it from the ethics. Whether you need to make an ethical decision, you make the decision using the code of ethics. That way, you are not going to be sanctioned by the organization of which you are a member of, or even the level practitioners are not going to pin you down for anything. Alright, so maybe I will go back to ask to say how does code of ethics help counselors to make ethical decisions? How does code of ethics help counselors to make codes of ethics? I mean, to make ethical decisions. You can answer ethical questions, you can also make ethical decisions. Without being afraid of being sanctioned or reported in any way. Alright, so let's look at some specific codes of ethics in Tanzania. Specific codes of ethics in Tanzania. The right of informed consent.
Specific codes of ethics.
Of country, yes, code of ethics in country. The right of informed consent. This is whether you are from Red Cross, whether you are from World Vision, every client has got the right of informed consent. Okay. When you're establishing the right of informed consent, or when you're making sure that you're observing this one, it is going to help the counselor because it also helps in the establishment of the basic foundation of creating a working alliance between the client and the therapist. When we are talking about the right to informed consent or the right of informed consent. This is a platform where the creation of relationship is going to be easier. So when we talk about informed consent, we are talking about a position where the client is supposed to be informed about their therapy. They need to be told about their therapy. And then the client should be in a position to make their own decisions pertaining to it. How do you do that? How do you carry out the right of informed consent? You start telling the client about their rights and responsibilities. So that's why I'm saying the right of informed consent is going to give you a platform of creating a relationship, right? Because you are meeting with someone for the first time, then you need to tell them, thank you, this is your responsibility, so this is what you are supposed to expect, this is what I'm expecting from you, this is what you should expect from me, this is how, so everything else. And the client has to make an informed decision after she has been told everything. So the way you're going to carry out your right of informed consent is also going to determine your relationship between the client as well as the counselor. Because if you're going to put out the responsibilities of both sides as if you are, it's demarcation, or you're putting each other in a cage, it is also going to make the client to freeze within. Okay, so as a client, I'm expecting you to do A, B, C, D. Yes, it's true, but you need to find a way of putting it across. So, we're saying informed consent involves the right of the client to be informed about their therapy, tell them what their therapy is all about, tell them about their rights, tell them about their responsibilities, tell them about your responsibilities again. But after you have finished the telling, the client should be able to make a consent. Alright, I am going to go on with this counseling after they know what is expected of them, after they know what is also expected of the counselor himself. Okay, so when we are talking about you tell them the rights, some of the responsibilities of the counselor towards the client, or some of the responsibilities of the client during the session includes limitations and exceptions of confidentiality. Limitations and exceptions to confidentiality.
Can you repeat the
Okay. I said during the time when you are doing the informed consent, I said you need to explain the responsibilities of the client, your responsibility as a counselor, right? But again, you need to tell them their rights. So some of the issues that are going to come out during this session is you need to tell them about the limitations and exceptions of confidentiality. So whatever we're going to discuss here is confidential, unless if I find it fit that I need to conduct, you tell them. In case they hear your story somewhere else. But that's not going to be done at day one. We discussed about this, I told you, so this is not here. So you need to tell them about the limitations and the exceptions of confidentiality. Or maybe you remember we agreed that if it's going to be too big for me, I'm going to go to my boss and find out or a few things that we can do in this case. So you are telling me. When the client says yes to go ahead with the company, they have agreed to say, okay, there is a chance that the boss of this organization is going to know about my problem. So apart from that, you should also tell them about their legal and ethical parameters. Legal and ethical parameters. That could define the relationship. The relationship between the client and the counselor has to be defined. Legal and ethical parameters that could define the relationship. And of course, talk about the fees. I am not helping you for free. The government is not paying me. By the end of this session, you are giving me so much. Or every session is equal to so much. So, talk about the fees involved. Talk about the length of the therapeutic process. And talk about your qualification. Why is it important to talk about your qualification?
To make them feel good.
I am Dr. of 1-1. Alright, I'll just go quickly this one. So apart from the information that you have listed down about qualifications, about the length of the process, the services that they should expect, even the fees that are involved, the client is also supposed to know the risks that are involved in the counseling process. What could be the risk? The risk could be, maybe by the end of the session, nothing is going to happen. Maybe their issue is going to be discussed with other supervisors and colleagues. So, the client is supposed to know about possible risks that may be involved in the process. Yeah, is there any question? So after you have said it can also be put in writing. So allow the client to take the form home, whether it's a form or the written document. Let them take it home so that they can go through it properly and bring it back tomorrow, signed. Signature, very important. It doesn't matter who my issues are going to be shared. I told you, I also gave you a document and is this not your signature? Oh, yes, it is. So, if there is anything, make sure that the frame of operation has to be put in writing, you agree, and signatures are supposed to be there. So to make sure that the client is not forced on the signing, let them carry it home and bring it up. But I know that we don't have the culture of reading. You can be given a contract, you go home, you won't see it, you see it. Unfortunately, most contracts have got these tiny words somewhere that you can hardly read, but they are the most important. So you just read the details and you fail to see the T and C's apply. Alright, we are talking about some counseling codes of ethics, right? So we are saying the right of informed consent. The other one is confidentiality. Confidentiality. Specific codes of ethics in counseling. Confidentiality. Alright, so this is an understanding between the client and the counselor, whereby the counselor tells the client to say everything that we are discussing here is going to be protected, it is not disclose without your permission. So, before the actual counseling starts, the counselor has the responsibility to inform the client of when they can and when they cannot maintain confidentiality. You get that? To this extent. Beyond that, I cannot keep it. What are some of the consequences that would require a counselor not to keep confidentiality?
What are the what?
The circumstances that will require a counselor not to maintain confidentiality.
When you have done something against,
When you have done something
for
like that.
example, you killed somebody and you discover that you are going to cancel. And then you're telling him how much. When there are chances of the client killing themselves.
When there is a chance of suicide. Okay. So before you finish that I killed the person with cancer is out of the door. Alright, so before the counseling session begins, you need to tell them, I am going to maintain confidentiality, yes, but in case of ABCD, I am not going to maintain confidentiality. So the person is able to keep their peace and go. Most of the time, confidentiality is most of the time the information that counselors get from clients is not disclosed unless there is some legal issues that are concerned, and then there is a time where now the client is going to disclose of what is happening. Okay. So we are saying counselors are supposed to agree on the essential value of confidentiality, but they also realize that it cannot be considered an absolute. There are times when confidential information must be divulged, and there are instances in which keeping or breaking confidentiality becomes a cloudy issue. Otherwise, you yourself as a counselor, you are going to be in trouble because you are keeping important information. Yeah. So, for you to keep confidentiality, you need to consider the requirements of the law. The law of the nation, the laws of the institution in which you are working in, but also the clientele that you're serving. So before you breach confidentiality, you need to think about that. What is the law saying? What is the clientele that I am serving saying? What is the institution that I am serving saying? So, like we are saying, there are some other legal requirements that you need to break confidentiality. In cases where it is involving child abuse, that one, you can't keep it. The abuse of the elderly, the abuse of dependent adults, danger of self, you were talking about suicide. Danger of self or others, that has to be told. So you are counseling someone and they constantly talk about suicide. You need to tell the family, look out for this one because ABCD. So, all mental health practitioners, they need to be aware of their duty to report all these situations and to know the limitations of confidentiality. you're dealing with issues. Here are some of the things or some of the information that needs to be reported. One, when you think your client needs hospitalization, you can sit down in a counseling session and then you recommend your hospitalization. Or when information is made an issue in a court action. Okay, so here is a person who has a case in court, and they are saying this person committed this because they are nice. Where is the evidence that this person is nice? In that case, the counselor is supposed to produce evidence if they have the evidence. So the court or whoever is holding up on the case, the lawyers may come to you. We have heard that this so is coming here for counseling. What is the issue? What did you find out? So the counselor, if they know that the information they need, they are gathering is needed in the court, they can divide the information to the appropriate personnel.
I repeat the second. I don't know what I said. You were saying about when the court is involved.
Yes, I say that when information is made an issue in a court of action. So I was simply explaining that when the information is made an issue in a court action.
When to break confidentiality?
Yeah, then you can break the confidentiality. Sometimes the confidentiality can be broken by the request of the client. So when the client requests that
Madam, I'm so sorry. Madam, we can have a early and I can take a fee. So I have to do in the situation.
You know, we've got 23 minutes to go.
You know, we just finished.
So when the client requests their records be released, that is also another time we can break the Sometimes the patient, I don't want to call them the patient, sometimes the client will say, you are free to release this information to a third party, so it's there. You can't keep the confidentiality. Alright, so primarily the counselor's obligation is to protect their client's disclosures unless if it is really, really needed. Because this is a very important part of your counseling. If you are going to put word out there to say keep people's confidentiality, then you can also sell yourself. But if you are in the process of someone comes to you with a problem, the next thing they are saying is successful. This guy that's always selling stories. So it means that the clients are not going to believe you, they are not going to trust you. And then eventually you are going to lose
If I hide my ID, it's like the group thing.
Yes, it's a grouping, hide my ID, but you read the stories deciding you. And you have just been to the counselor yesterday, the next morning you have seen you on the page. What's that?
It's like you want those people who are reading to tell you which ideas or what to do.
Madam, those people, they don't go through psychology to trust me.
They know about that.
I'm almost feeling they should just give their attention to people. When people comment in the media,
because they want those comments to be helped.
hang yourself.
Alright, so my point is, you are the counselor who's helping someone. She has come with her stories. The next morning you're posting to the companion and she's reading her stories on the companion page. How is she going to say? Okay, that's different. Yeah. So my point is, the first thing that a counselor is supposed to do is to maintain confidentiality. This is the most important aspect of a counselor. Because the moment people start hearing their stories in different platforms, then you are going to lose your popularity. But at the same time, much as you want to be known to keep secrets, don't keep them to the point that it's going to drag you to court.
Number 3?
Exceeding competition. All right. I want to explain this by saying counselors have an ethical responsibility to present their qualifications and experience truthfully. Remember, I said during the informed consent, you're supposed to tell them your qualification?
Yeah.
During that period, you need to make sure you say only that which you are. Do not say what you are not. I am a doctor, blah, 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 when you are actually first. Okay, so it is said that most of the malfunctions that happen in the circles of counseling, they come in because of people presenting themselves as more qualified than what they really are. So, you can be using techniques in counseling which you are not competent in. And because of that, people have fallen in trouble. So we are saying exceeding competence is another ethic that is supposed to be in each and every house. Make sure that you are staying within your competency. Even people. If we are saying, competence level. Alright, so if you've got an area of specialization in counseling, or you wish to use specialized techniques, it is usually important that you need to take additional coursework in that particular area. For example, maybe you want to deal with substance abuse, then get a course in that particular area so that your confidence has to be there. But you don't deal with that when you do not have the confidence. So you can do a course, you can attend a workshop, or you can attend conferences just to acquire additional experience. Do not exceed your levels. This is an ethic. Then there is sexual and dual relationship. So, a counselor must never ever engage in sexual relationships with a client. Remember, we said we were talking about qualities of the counselor. One of them was say, know yourself. Right? If you know that you are a young man and a beautiful lady walks in, you can't handle it, you can always find someone to counsel her. Okay, so most of the complaints that come from counseling houses is sexual exploitation or sexual relationships that take place between counselor and the client. So, a counselor who has sexual feelings for a client may need to refer the client to another person. The ethics or the codes of ethics, standard codes of ethics, they also suggest that you can't even engage in a sexual relationship with an ex-client. You live in an ex. Not that you make their life better, you need to So, because they have known this person through your work, you're not supposed to go back to them and then have a relationship. It is not advisable. After a session and you go like, oh, let's go to Urban and have coffee, or you're done your handling and you're taking them in your car. Because you're going in the same direction. on ethical guidelines about building relationships with clients. Friendship kind of relationship. There's no clear cut whether you're not supposed to be or you're supposed to be.
A normal friendship is okay?
That's what I'm saying. There's no clear cut. There's still that kind of a debate that goes around. But why do you want to develop a friendship with a client? Because your relationship initially is client kind of that.
What do you mind?
That's what I'm saying.
By the fact that you're going for a session, that's enough for the client to find you.
What if your friend don't know?
In a on that situation, I will give them to kiss.
Remember we say a counselor is supposed to be creative? If you see that you having a relationship with the client is harming them, then you need to drop it. But if you think relating with them is also part of the therapy, then you can keep up. But you need to have a close eye and see whether it's working or it's not.
Take my license.
Yeah, license is gonna be taken.
I might go to jail my first year.
All right. That is it about practical examples of ethics. But now let us look at some ethical issues in multicultural perspective.
Go to jail 50 years. Ethical issues on multicultural.
In a multicultural perspective. Okay, multicultural confidence. That's your assignment. So far I have received one, but I would still suggest that you post it on the portal and give me a hard copy.
Hard copy also?
For portal, I know, I only have one. One hard copy, because I want to write my nonsense on the hard copy.
Then you will give it back. Yeah. To me, you have to pay for flight. I'm just saying we're paid.
Oh, maybe let's leave it like that. It's fine. It's going to be.
No, I will give you.
I'm going to give you. I want to see the notes.
Yeah, if you will have my comment to do with us, I use the content.
So you can. That's what I'm saying. Because I know that there are other issues with the portal.
It's fake. You knew, even my Google, I
You have your password.
Which password?
Google
Yeah.
You just close it. You don't have to do it each and every time you want to access.
In your mind is just waking without even. That's what we are talking about.
Okay, when we're talking about ethical issues in multicultural we are looking at is it possible to practice unethically? Or is it possible to practice ethically when you're dealing with people from different backgrounds? Ethical issues in a multicultural perspective. Multicultural. So, is it possible for practitioners to practice unethically if they do not address cultural differences? That's the question. So here you are as a counselor, and you're dealing with people from different backgrounds. So if you are not going to take into consideration their multi or their cultural background, is it possible that you can eventually find yourself that you are not practicing ethically? So there is ethics and then there is culture. So if you're not going to respect the culture, what are the chances that you can be unethical? Does culture or does the respect of culture bring you in trouble in as far as ethics is concerned?
Yes. Sometimes.
And we give an example.
Whatever, I feel like whatever we do, even right now, it connects with our culture. So
Yes.
I don't know, but I feel like putting the way people value culture, the way other people value their culture, it's difficult to put them outside of it even when you're giving them advice. You are just supposed maybe to relate to others on how they do their thing, or to just include their culture in it when you're giving them advice.
So can you see that it is really, really important for a counselor to have multicultural competence?
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes you can diagnose someone erroneously. Like, you can have an error in your diagnosis because you haven't considered somebody's culture. But when you consider their culture, then you can give them the right prescription because of where they're coming from. But again, some lifestyles of people, you may think they are this when they are not, just because of where they're coming from. So when you are a counselor, you really, really need to be competent in as far as knowing the cultures of people are concerned. Otherwise, it's going to come in your way of giving solutions or suggesting solutions to your clients. But at the same time, most of the methods that have been used by the counselors, were they coined in Africa? Well, most of the methods of counseling that are currently on the market, the contemporary methods, were they found by African psychologists? No, but we are here using them for black people, right? So in some way or the other, you may not be off point when you are not considering culture when you are addressing a person. But at the same time, an ethic and culture, they are not together. My ethics are saying this, your culture is saying this. As long as I have followed my code of ethics, even though I haven't considered your culture, I am okay with the law, I am okay with my organization. But now the big idea is, are you okay with a client whom you are trying to serve? So the most important thing is we are people oriented, right? We want to do good with the one we are taking care of. And therefore, I would rather make sure that I take care of this person in every way by taking into consideration with their culture as well. Remember, we said a counselor is supposed to be to accept. Take them as they are, then you start from there. One way how you accept them is you accept their culture. You have the client who's coming from Mustadi. You look at them and you want to be offended, but you look at them, they're not even angry, but because that's the way of speaking. So as a counselor, you may be offended. So you may be offended, but if you take into consideration of their culture, you're good. All right. Do we have any questions? No? So we meet again next week, same time. Remember, we are meeting